Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today we are going to start a new chapter which is fats and oils in food products. Let's begin this chapter. First of all, we start the chapter with the topic steps in manufacturing food fats. The very first step in manufacturing food fats is to remove lipids from their natural food sources. The removal of fat from animal tissues either by dry or moist heat is known to be as rendering, while the removal of fat from plant sources could be done by two methods which is known as cold pressing and hot pressing. Let's see in detail what is cold pressing and hot pressing and what does rendering do. So by definition, the removal of animal fat by dry or moist heat is known as rendering. The process which we use will be either dry or moist heat. Dry rendering is done by heating the tissues and collecting the melted fat as it is drained and finally expressed by squeezing the residue. Right? So, for wet rendering, the approach is little different. In this process, tissues are subjected to either very hot water or steam, and sometimes under some pressure. The hot fluids, which are fats, are then separated from water and antioxidants, which are frequently added to retard the development of rancidity. This is very important to prevent rancidity at this step. Otherwise, the ability of it to get rancid is really quick and the quality may become bad after it has not been treated with the antioxidant. Hot pressing or cold pressing removes lipids from plants. So what is cold pressing? The mechanical pressing of olives to express oil without heat, which results in an oil which is of excellent purity. Cold pressing is desirable because of the high quality of the oil that can be extracted in this manner. However, cold pressing does not extract as high a portion of the oil in the seeds as does the hot pressing. So, the extraction of both the methods are a little bit different as it is explained that the cold pressed oil does not extract a high portion of the oil, right? That the portion is not very much high as does in hot pressing. Let's see what is hot pressing. Using steam or hot water to heat plant seeds to about 70 degrees Celsius to facilitate extraction of lipids from the seeds. It is a process that also extracts some gums, off flavors, and free fatty acids. What are gums? These are the polysaccharide based which are associated with some woody plants. So this is also seems to be a very simple process, and the difference between both the processes is that we get the bulk amount of oil in hot pressing, while in cold pressing the purity of oil matters. So after the rendering is being done, there may be some undesirable constituents formed after extraction. They may be gums, lipoproteins, lecithins, ketones, and aldehydes. These are a few of the examples that may appear in fats at the stage of manufacturing. So several steps can be helpful in refining these fats to the high level of purity which is needed to move them through marketing channels and into the kitchen. These few steps are: number one is degumming and neutralization. In degumming and neutralization, the procedures can remove gums and free fatty acids. Degumming is actually the separating of natural gums from extracted fats, an important step in refining fats and oils. While in neutralization, the removal of free fatty acids from fats and oil takes place, which is a step in their refinement. Then bleaching takes place, which is one of the refining steps in which coloring and flavoring contaminants and removed from fats, often by filtration through active charcoal or other suitable substrates. And after that, deodorizing takes place, which is the step in which the steam is used. It is a distillation or other suitable procedures that may remove the molecular weight of aldehydes, ketones, peroxides, hydrocarbons, and free fatty acids that would be detrimental to the aroma and flavor of fats. Basically, the aroma or the unfavorable aroma or flavor that may occur in fat is being removed in that step. After that, winterizing takes place to refine the oil, in which oils are chilled carefully to precipitate and then remove fractions with high melting points that would interfere with the flow properties of salad dressings or other products that contains the oil. उसकी जो fluid property है, it actually works over it and it improves the fluid property of oils. So degumming, which is the separation of free fatty acids and gums from lipids, procedure is written through hot steam, while in neutralization, removal of free fatty acids takes place. Bleaching, in which the coloring and flavor contaminants are removed from fats. Then deodorizing, in which the steam is used for the distillation or other suitable procedures to remove low molecule weights like aldehyde, etc. Then winterizing, which is the refining steps in which oils are chilled and then they are carefully precipitated so that its flow quality can be improved. Fractionation is the process of separating oils into the fractions using controlled temperature. First to crystallize the fatty acids with high melting points, and then by separating the oil from it with lower melting points. Controlling crystal size, it is the final phase in the manufacturing of fats. The fluid fat, basically, the comparative stability and the fine crystal size of beta crystals make this type of crystals and goal in the final products. Why this is important? Careful control of temperature as the fat is cooling combined with an appropriate amount of agitation can help achieve a smooth fat. With beta crystals, the predominant crystal size may take place, and without such controls, the small beta crystals are not able to form readily. Instead, the large beta crystals precipitate, and that gives a coarse texture to the oil and fats, which is not desirable. In the manufacture of special fats for use in confectionery industries, fats undergo a process which is known as tempering that yield a product with a mixture of crystal shapes. What is tempering? Tempering is a process in which the temperature is carefully controlled by removing the heat as it is released when liquid fat crystallizes. And that heat of crystallization, by this means the fat is held at a specific temperature for the time required for the crystals to finish forming and to stabilize in the favored crystals form. Like chocolate needs to be tempered to promote the formation of stable fat crystals. So after that, the blooming occurs, which is the granular appearing, that is discolored areas on the surface of chocolate, is the result of melting of less stable crystals and recrystallizations as beta crystals on the surfaces. And you know, the after tempering, the blooming occurs, which is the discolored area which usually appears on the surface of the fat. इसमें यहाँ पे they have given the example of a chocolate in which the formation of stable fat crystals occur with the help of beta crystals. Quality determinations of lipids. What does it mean? There are some quality tests that need to be occurred to check the standards of the fats and oils that may be manufactured, and then it may reach to the consumers to be used. These are chromatographic analysis, which is the analytical technique used to separating a mixture of chemical substance into its individual components. Another test is iodine number, in which the fatty acids containing double bonds are able to take up iodine at the point of unsaturation. So the weight of the iodine held indicates the amount of unsaturation in a fat and referred to as iodine number of iodine value. Means if the fat is unsaturated, then it has an ability to take up the more iodine. Peroxide value test measures the oxidation of potassium iodine in the presence of a fat. This value indicates the deterioration of a fat by oxidative rancidity. It is measured by the formation of peroxides. Number 4 test is free fatty acid content. It is done by the titration of a fluid fat sample with a standard sodium hydroxide solution. The free fatty acid content of the day can be determined. This value rises as hydrochloric rancidity develops in the fat during storage or prolonged use. Number 5 is standardized testing. Methods for testing fats and other lipids have been developed, and they have been reviewed extensively by several groups. These are the names of those groups: American Oil Chemist Society, the Association of Official Analytical Chemists, the Codex Alimentarius Commission, and the International Union for Pure and Applied Chemistry.